kind of playing two sides of the fence. Not an evil man at all. See, I wanted to use an example. Like Ben Shapiro's just trying to sell. He's got rage in him, man. He's short. He's way too small. Steven Crowder's awesome. Dennis Prager is a good way to look at someone that I respect, but I disagree with his politics. I disagree with his rules for thee, not for me shit. And I'd be honored to have him as a dinner guest. I would never let Jordan Peterson in my home. Fuck no. He'd be like, it depends on what you mean by rape, eh? All right, let's watch a little more of this shit. Let's talk about it.
Would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people, and the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents.
Yes.
Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest
Guys,
shock.
how valuable is this? This is like early 80s. This dude's comes over here. Everything he's saying happened. It's all accurate. He's literally saying like, yeah, these people get praised by the very media that we instilled with you know, he's like, dude, spying, espionage, it's not James Bond. It's this shit. It's making a culture hate themselves, get rid of the men, make the women defeminize, kill God, fucking have Joe Rogan give you a bunch of pills, have Jordan Peterson give you a sense of cultural relativism, and then they just march right in. And those guys are all dead. Joe Rogan can't kick his way out of this one, guys. That's why the way out is not to become evil. See, Hitler's the wrong path. It's protect. Speak truth. Protect your family first. Then your land. Then your community. Then your nation. And if a fraction of us do that, these things all fall. This requires so much self-hatred and so much silence that I can't fucking believe it's working. You don't need to kill millions of people. Unfortunately, that looks like where it's going. Like if just 20% of the population was like, this sounds weird. Ben Shapiro's short and dumb. I don't know about Jordan Peterson. It's all over. It just the whole fucking thing vanishes. I'd rather have my kid not be gay. Do you hate gay people? Shut up or you're gonna get fired. Oh, I'm sorry. I love gay people. Who the fuck wants a gay kid? Do you hate your kid? What's a gay life expectancy? 40? A lot of sadness, guys. It's not about hating gay people. It's about understanding, like, being gay. I don't hate gay people. There's one thing I wanted to address, too. People are like, do you hate gay people? No, not at all. It's having pride in that lifestyle will only lead to your misery. And Vox Day talked about this as well. That guy's become a very inspiring person in my life. When you know gay people for a long period of time, rich, powerful, poor, banging behind an alley at a rave, things usually don't end well for these guys. You know, they can't biologically have kids. They are in a community that does a lot of drugs. There's a lot of self-hate. There's a lot of weirdness. There's diseases. There's always this outsider feeling. It's like, would I disown my kid if he was gay? No, of course not. I'd love him just as much. And I would want him to have the rights of other people. It would be very sad. I would feel sad. I would feel for him that he'd have to go through that. It would be like an affliction. That's how I see it. It's the same with gender dysphoria. And to say like, the beauty and stability and truth that comes from making a child or like having a family, you know, that biological connection that makes a beating heart. You know, I do it as a joke in stand-up, but it's like, you know, what does an asshole make? Just shit. And I'm only doing that to mock the gays that are like, vaginas are gross. I'm gay. Don't be homophobic. Don't tell me what to say. Being gay is awesome. It's like, those are the people that I'm mocking. Just normal gay people that deal with the fact that they are attracted to men and not women. That's a tough road. It's not evil like pedophilia. It's not based on control and pain and hurt. There's some people that just are like, man, I just like firefighters. I think women are fucking retarded and they're so dumb. I just want a fucking firefighter. That's a tough road, dude. You're not evil, but it's like your community and your world is destined for vulnerability. There's a reason evil people latch on to gays. I'll make you feel safe. I'll make you feel just like everybody else. You're not like everybody else. You're not. Like, our dick is made to go in a pussy to make life. That's biologically why it's there. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, you're tempted to whack off and have sex and not make babies and all that. But like, to only want to put it in an asshole, it leads you to a road of destabilization and you feel unsafe. You shouldn't hate yourself. It's not like you're bad, but like that's an impulse. It's like OCD. I morally put it with OCD, where it's like if someone really needs to tap 47 times every time he turns on a light, are they evil? No. But if we live in a world that says, that is just as accurate as not tapping. And you're like, are you sure? Are you sure that it's the same thing? Like, you're different, dude. You don't need to tap 47 times to turn on the light. Just turn on the fucking light. It's like, tap, tap, tap. It's like, just know you're different and it's tough. You're not evil, but like this pride in it. This like, oh, it's so great that we're gay. Like, being gay is awesome. Like, are you homophobic? Don't ever criticize. It's like, that's a subversion. And there's a reason people do it. There's a reason leftists, just like Yuri, was trained to use gays and to use single women. It's because vulnerable people, just like pedophiles, guys, evil is evil. It's just straight up evil. It's the same fucking evil. The evil isn't being gay. It's empowering sodomy. It's saying sodomy is awesome. And want to hear a really funny anecdote, a funny backfire. So I used to call people fags. Anybody that was being soft. Or like a gay guy in roller skates, I'd be like, wow, that guy's such a fag. But then I'd call my buddy a fag for being late to pick me up at the airport. When that became considered hate speech, it backfired so much on them that it's insanely funny to me. I just started calling everyone a sodomite. And it's so accurate and so deadly, like, true, and it can't possibly be seen as not politically correct. It's literally sodomy. And it also is so much better than fag because it's not that I'm grossed out that a man is attracted to another man. It's when he wants to jam his cock in his asshole. Like to fuck an asshole. Even when a straight guy wants to fuck a chick's asshole, I've always been put off by that. It's like, oh, fuck her in the ass. I'm like, why? What's up? What's up with that sodomy? And so when you call people sodomites, it's so perfect because it's the act itself that you're even criticizing. It actually is so much better than fag. Because fag is saying like being attracted to a man makes you less of a man. It doesn't. It's a tough road. It's like OCD. But putting your cock in a dude's asshole is gross and it's weird. And it's a tough life. It spreads disease. It causes, like, gay guys have to wear fucking diapers when they get old and shit. No one wants to talk about that in fucking BuzzFeed. Talk to an old sodomite, he's got to wear fucking diapers because his asshole shit just falls out of his ass. That's, you want your kid to have that life? You want your kid to not be able to have the wonders of just lusting and loving and wanting a body that will give him children? Who the fuck hates their kids so much? It's not as bad as the trans kid thing, obviously, but like, it's such a disregard for your son's life. It's up there with being like, yeah, I want my kid to be blind. Why would you not want your kid to be blind? You shouldn't not love your kid or hate your kid or make your kid feel like they're evil or anything if they're attracted to men at all. But just know that's a constant battle. And if they submit and just be like, being gay is the best, you're looking at AIDS, death rate 45. That's the average lifespan. 50. Do you understand the murder rate in the gay community? The drug rate in the gay community? And what they want to fucking say it's because of us, right? That it's because they feel so much hate that they have to constantly do meth and uppers. It's sodomy, guys. You don't think you don't think fucking Hasidic Jews in West Hollywood get hate? They wear fucking big cheese hats and have weird fucking hair. Everyone looks at them and they're like, what the fuck? That's all gays are getting. No one's dragging them behind trucks. That happened once like 40 years ago and it was a meth deal gone wrong. It's all bullshit. Yeah, people might be like, it's kind of gross. I feel that way about fucking some of the Jew fucking sideburns that go down to their ass. I'm like, whoa, they die at 80. It's like, no, it's because a lifestyle that is proud of sodomy. It's just like, okay, I'll put myself on it so I'm not a hypocrite. When I was proud of the amount of women that wanted me and that I could have sex with, it's very similar. That's a sad life. Imagine if for the rest of my life I was like, I crush pussy. You know, and they get abortions and I'm always pulling out and I fuck them and bail. Wouldn't you be like, can you not do that? Can you settle down and have a family? Like really feel life? It's like, no way, dude. I can't physically fuck a girl more than once or I vomit. So would you think that's good? So now they're facing this thing. So this is a battle they'd have to go through to get some sort of stable world. It's so that's so similar to gay. It's like, I want to roller skate, do meth, and fuck assholes and have my asshole fucked. Pride. It's like, okay, cut to 30 years later, you're wicked, sad, and unhealthy. Okay, who wants you in that position? People that prey on the vulnerable. Dude, gender dysphoria, my piano teacher had gender dysphoria, was a woman, transitioned to a man. Good person. Real, not socially motivated. Nowadays, it's always boy to girl because it's about a hatred of men. But it's a tough life, what Larry went through. It's not easy. It's rough. I got to watch the whole thing happen. And it's a form of mental illness. Is Larry evil? No. It's evil to be like, I want more people to be like this. This is what people should be like. And then your little boy is like, but I like trucks. It's like, the human being doesn't have a gender. It's like, I'm so confused. That's evil. That's what Joe Rogan does. That's what Sam Tripoli does. This is moral relativism only serves you, you ungrateful, sick, just appetite-driven cunt. That's not masculinity to be like, just do you. Yeah, it's like, being gay is just like being straight. No, the fuck it isn't. I have problems too. What if someone said to me, what if I was like, yo, man, I just sometimes like to, when I'm on the road, I just want to fuck a strange girl. Imagine if people were like, that's fine. You should have pride in that. That would destroy my life. I've been so close, and I love some gay men. There's men in my life that are gay that I love. Like, I love them. Their life is extremely hard and lonely and full of anxiety and health problems. It's like, sodomy doesn't bring you anywhere good. I'm going to read some super chats. I got some more shit, though. And these are points that they won't have me on to debate. Like, you can't debate that. How are you supposed to look me in the eye and say, I want my son to be a sodomite? Okay, let's talk about life expectancy. Let's talk about suicide rate, homicide rate. Why would you want that for your son? Look at me in the eye. Your son, you want him to face that? That's like if your son has like another thing. It's not like an illness. It's not like cancer. It's not like that crazy. But it's like OCD is so similar. It's like, have you ever known someone with OCD where they have to do a tap or they have to do something to get through their day? And it can, if they indulge it, if they don't see it as anything wrong, if they think the world needs to adapt to them, before you know it, they're not leaving their house. They're agoraphobic. They're in a prison of tapping. And it's all bullshit. Fucking a guy in the ass doesn't make you children. You're not married, dude. Like, I want your boyfriend to be able to make life decisions on your deathbed. Of course. You want to split healthcare? Yeah, I think healthcare, you should be able to do whatever you want with that shit. Free market. That isn't marriage. You want to argue that shit? Fine. Marriage is a bond between men and women. It's what it is. You want to come up with a new word, call it garage? Be gay married. It's called getting garried. Be like, we got garried. I'd be like, God bless. I'll come to your garage. Your garage day. Your gay wedding. You know, it's not marriage. Marriage already has a fucking definition. Owen Benjamin hates homosexuals, but do not watch them. There's a reason there's 6,000 people watching me. People talk shit. They say, I'm going to lose my mind. Go watch him kill himself on his live stream. He's fucking in the middle of the woods. Everyone hates him. So people will come. They're like, don't even watch him. You'll get the sickness. They'll come, and 10 minutes in, they're like, oh, this guy's crazy. I want to see some guy be crazy. And then they're like, I relate to that, though. You know, I kind of relate to. And then within 2 streams, they're like, that guy's got the life I want. Like, he's honest. Like, his family's great. He says the shit that's in my head. And the person that slammed him is a sodomite. Am I wrong? These people don't even understand that they're giving me an audience. Because people come here. You have to be pretty fucking cynical to think people come here, give me tips, they throw me some cash to write me something, and me talk about their thoughts, and they watch hour after hour, day after day, just to see me kill myself? Do you think that's even possible, that thousands of people are that sick? That's called projection. That's someone who wants to kill themselves. Sam Tripoli hates himself. Time to find Jesus, Sam. And I'm not kidding. It's the only way out. And Joe Rogan would be like, it's time to find Jesus. You know, they mock it, but it's the only way out. You can't deal with your own shit. We all have appetites. We all have sin. We all aren't evil. We all don't prey on the vulnerable. That's a whole different level. But, like, we can't get out of this alone. We can all be manipulated by Satan. All right. So let's watch a little more Yuri. Chill, little BB? Well, now you're banned for life. This is a passionate episode. I said that up front. It's a passionate episode. There'll be comments being like, he's on drugs. Look at him. He's talking so fast. It's called passion. You know, people see what they want to see. They see their own failures, their own inadequacies, right? They're like, meth. I mean, why would anyone talk for 2.5 straight hours and fucking be so passionate? It's because I give a fuck. Because I have blood pumping through my fucking body. I've only finished 1 claw. Last night I got a little tipsy, got real happy, played some sad songs, cried a little bit. It's like, if you're waiting for a suicide, you better wait for a long time. And if there ever is a suicide, it was Hillary Clinton. Let's watch a little more Yuri.
Of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically, America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if
That's one of the reasons I'm against sarcasm and snark, even though I have instincts to do it. It's because the Russian communists were the most sarcastic, snarky people ever. Everything was a joke because it was an upside-down world. That's why I don't trust Ben Shapiro. It's like, really? I mean, this is great. This is exactly what we want. Speak truth. Yes means yes, no means no. That's why it's like, we're not normalization yet. We're destabilization. We've been demoralized, but we're now entering the phase where it's like unhealth is health. Sodomy is love. You know, being fat is fine. It's no different. Being a guy who chopped off his cock makes you the best woman. And the people that can't see it are fucked. They're going to be wiped off the planet. They're just, because this is to take over a place. So the hypernormalization means you get a population that's so fucking fucked. And don't think this is just a left-right thing. The moon landing thing opened my eyes to the right-wing NPC. Not as many as the left, because the right, just being conscious of meritocracy and the fact there's more Christians on the right, they tend to be less like this. But the whole like moon landing thing was mind-blowing to me. That's the easiest thing to prove that didn't happen. And people are like, it did happen. You were bad. You're bad. I'm like, oh no, they got you too, man. And it's like, the thing that saves people are mothers. It's little experiences that you had with someone who genuinely loved you when you were a child that'll snap you out of things. My mother, without my mother, I'm fucked. It's just like Yuri's memory about eating American cheese and how it never allowed him to completely be propagandized because it couldn't have been that bad in America if they made that cheese. And Inception had that movie had that idea where it was like the room in the room in the room in the head, there was one memory. And the guy's whole world was so wrapped up in that one memory from his childhood. And people that are raised without mothers or any love or any family, you can get out. I know people that have gotten out, but they're missing that thing that lets them teach themselves. Like Dave Smith is a perfect example of a guy who we can disagree, but I know he's not lying to me. And when I bring up a great point, like if I told him like every moon rock has uranium isotope and brass, which only exist on Earth. They have trace amounts of it. Every moon rock, like there's no brass anywhere else in the universe. It's made by people. He'd be like, really? Like even if he thought we went to the moon, he'd be like, I got to look into that shit. When you see fear instead of excitement, that's why I'm like embracing trying to see if the Earth is flat. Because when you see people be like, don't even question it, that's crazy. You won't get out of it until a boot is on your fucking neck. And then you're dead. Because the people doing this to us, you have no value. That's why when I talk about tribes, or I'm like, dude, a lot of strong Jews respect that I'm calling out Goldman Sachs and shit. There's a lot of black people that respect the fact I got a song called That Nigger Stole My Bike. Because it's like, I have value because I'm a man. Because I'm not this sheepish little like, will you like me? Like me and Eric Nimmer get along so good. Me and Israelis get along. Dude, my fucking property, all I do is build fences and set up cameras and guns and shit. It's like, I want this to be Israel. I want to keep the fucking muzzies out in my mind. You know, like I relate to nationalists. I relate to black country culture, all about talking shit and barbecuing, grilling. You know, that's the thing. It's like, it's so funny what these empty cunts call me: racist, Jew hater. The irony, of course, is that I relate more to Israeli nationalists and like real country black dudes than I do these white cunts. And I'm not a white hater at all. I'm a white enthusiast. But it's like, culturally, it's like I believe in borders, protection, nation, and talking shit and laughing and grilling meat. That's why some of my best friends are Israelis and blacks. I'm not happy about it. I don't want to have to really like a Jew. I don't want my opener to be black. It makes it look like I'm fucking sucking up to the system. But he's so funny that my audience loves it. Like, at first, they're probably like, oh, great. Gotta have a black guy, huh? That's why affirmative action, all that shit, just it fucks with black people because it always looks like they didn't earn it. And then Eric kills so hard that they're like, Owen gets it. Owen has the best people open for him. But yeah, I'd love if it was a white person. It'd be better for my, for my image. I don't want to look like I'm fucking, I got to have a black guy everywhere I go. But I might tour Israel. And Eric was like, you really going to Israel? I'm like, only if you go, dude. I need a guy who's killed people that I trust. I don't want to be around these sneaky Ben Shapiros. Imagine if I just go to Israel. But Dolev swears that they're all like people that I relate to. Like, they have tons of kids and they're kind of country in a weird Jew way. But imagine a world of just Ben Shapiros everywhere. Like, really? You're so tall. How fucking tall are you? The hatred of tall people by the little Jew is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. God, they hate tall people. Because not all the gold in the world won't get them a better cock, and they know that. They fucking know it. They wake up with it, and they go to sleep with it. They can get all the birch gold in the world, and then they take one look at me. And they're like, there's no promo code to get a cock on it like that guy. It's not even that big. It's proportional. It's a solid penis. But it's not like a monster penis. But in their minds it is. It's just this monster cock and just killing the world. It's just a strong penis. And want to know what makes your penis strong? It's to not hate your own penis. Don't hate your own dick. Accept it. And because Jews all have mangled dicks. Like, the first thing they're born with is some fucking creepy guy cutting off part of their dick. And that ensures that they're always going to fucking hate tall people. Because they're going to be like, I bet no one cut off part of his dick. And I bet it's huge. I'm going to fucking blackball him. This is wicked funny. All right, a little more Yuri and then another video, and then I'll read all the super chats. I'm not going anywhere. Tonight, I love this stream. I felt like I did enough structuring of it, but I was loose enough where I feel really good about this one. Because I've had some streams where I don't like I re-listen to some of them sometimes to like get notes. I'm like to figure out how to make it better, even though I kind of hate my own voice after a while. I think I just sound like a fucking retard. But I feel good about this one. Let's watch a little more Yuri.
All the schmucks to bring the country.
Want to know why I feel good about this one? Because I fucking savagely slayed a bunch of dudes without being cruel. Because that's what I tried to learn from the last Joe Rogan, execution. Is I'm trying to come from a place of love and like what to watch out for. Because I didn't like the feelings I had in myself, and I fucking really enjoy just massacring. And I'm like, that's the door to some bad shit. But I feel like I took him down hard, but it wasn't cruel. And it wasn't like basking in the violence of it. Because that's in me.
To promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with the benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins. Never mind. He will create false illusions that
just go watch the rest of it. This guy is profound. And he talks about, he's like, there is no religion with equality. He's like, show me in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. And he believes in God. This dude, he's Christian. And he had to do some horrible things. And that's one thing about Christianity. There is redemption. you know? And he had to face a lot of shit, but he also had to face like his own death leaving the Soviet Union. He talked about how they make you marry certain people. And this is why I have hope, is because that dude got out of the USSR. And now, as much as I am pro-America and I don't want this country to get stronger or attack us or anything, Russia is in a much better position now than it was then. And they somehow got out of it. And they didn't have a full country collapse. And it didn't get worse. Like what we're facing, if you look at Lenin and Trotsky and then Stalin and Brezhnev, Khrushchev, all those guys, that whole thing makes America right now look like Sparta. Like they demoralized and undercut everything about Russia, made it a dystopian, totalitarian, psychotic state. And now they're like getting back to Christianity, nationalism. You know, Putin's kind of funny. It's like, and when people are like, oh, Putin kills people. Hillary Clinton's literally murdered 200 people in her life, and she's responsible for a sex trade out of Haiti. It's like, that's what I mean about like the moral bullshit. Yeah, Putin's probably a piece of shit. But it's like, when you do that, if you're making a point about a place where you're like, Russia is no longer communist, they're developing, you know, Christianity again. They're trying to, you know, have a better currency. They're standing up to other world powers. They're, you know, and if someone's like, yeah, but Putin's killed people, it's like, so that implies your guys haven't. That implies Barack Obama didn't drone strike weddings. Because if not, that's off the table. Because that means you hate yourself and your own country, which you probably do, and you probably want to start eugenics programs. This is going to affect my kids. That's why those people are snakes. I wish that my government wasn't so fucking corrupt and that every president we've ever had has done some backdoor shitty deal and they're responsible for the death of innocents and all that stuff, obviously. But like, when you're assessing the world and threats, there is no perfect utopia. You know what utopia means? And then I'll play another video. It means nowhere. Utopia is one of the funniest ironies. It means nowhere. There is no utopia. That's why Christianity is better inherently than other religions. It's the only people that completely like embrace that this is a fallen, broken world. We're fallen, broken people, but we can be redeemed because that dude did it. How the fuck else are you supposed to get by in this world? Like, just kill your brain so that when you see information that contradicts the narrative, it doesn't enter your mind. And then when people are literally raping and murdering you and your family is the first time it makes sense. And before you know it, you're in a gulag. Like, is that the way out? No. Truth over power, always. Always, always, always. And I've learned that shit the hard way. I was never into exploiting the vulnerable. I was never into this exponential growth and stuff like that. But like, I thought that having a house in the hills or like being in a movie or getting respect from movie stars was going to give me something. And when it didn't, because I had a mother who loved me, I recognized it. Because so many of these lost people out there that had mothers or, you know, and I'm not saying if you don't have a mother, you can't be a good person. I'm just saying it's harder. It's kind of like being a gay person doesn't make you bad. It just makes your life hard. You know, it's like the fact I had a mother who loved me more than her own career success and community standards. My mom's made a million mistakes just like all of us, but like she didn't care what the Joneses said about her son. They didn't circumcise me in 1980. People called us fucking heathens and all this shit. It's like, oh no, we don't believe in circumcision. I don't like generally mutilating a penis. And people are like, but his dick's gonna look like an anteater. It's disgusting, and you won't be able to clean it, and it's gonna get disease. And she's like, what? And it's like, well, I don't know if we can spend time together. It's like, then get the fuck out. My mom's the original banner, banned for life, banned for life. Someone she was she was doing part-time work as a librarian to make a little extra cash because she quit her job as a professor when my brother was born because she's a legend, and. They're like, if you don't sign this petition to get someone fired, we're probably not going to have a lot of shifts for you. And she was like, but they shouldn't be fired. And they're like, yeah, but I mean, come on, it's nothing. You want your job. You just have to send a petition. She was like, no. And she didn't. And she never got asked back. And so we made it work with collecting cans, and I never had new clothes. Our toy, we'd get like 1 or 2 toys. That's what, like, my mom was saddened when I was like, I guess it sounded like I was making fun of her when I was saying that like we get like 1 toy in like April and it'd be our Christmas present. Because it sounded like I was mocking her, and it made her sad. And I really thought about it a lot. I'm like, why would I mock my mother? My mother is like so instrumental in everything good about me. I take pride in it. And she didn't realize that. Where I'm like, my mom's ability to be like, then we don't get toys, so that she could speak truth to power. I think what she thought was mockery was really like me just making it sound funny. But I have so much pride that she did that. As a little kid, like, kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. Josh Wolf, great comedian, he taught me that. You know, all these dudes were giving me father advice when I was first a dad, and that always stuck in my head. It's like, if you say respect your mother, but you don't respect his mother, he's not going to respect his mother. I learned that I can't have big arguments with Amy in front of Walter, because then it's like, oh, mom doesn't get respect or dad doesn't get respect. Because it would start where it's like, you can't talk to me like that in front of Walter. You know, he's going to think men can be talked down to. And then if we start an argument, it's like, well, then he thinks that women, it's like, that's why we don't show him any of that if we have like an argument about something. Because it's like, be nice to your mom. It's like, well, you weren't. It's like, fuck. Because their brains are still forming. They're forming until they're 25, but yet people are chopping off cocks at 5. But a good mother will give you those blinks, those moments in your childhood where you saw something, where you saw that you had value. And Jews face that right now, where they don't feel they have value. This Holocaust psychological operation to make the word anti-Semite or Hitler or any of this shit just the devil personified, it's taken a toll on Jews. There's like a real survivor's guilt going on with a lot of Israelis and a lot of people, where it's like, it oddly isn't as empowering as people think to the average day in, day out Jew. The bankers are making a fortune on this fucking guilt, shame bullshit, but like, you got to feel like you matter. Like your life matters more than stuff. And my mom gave me that. And that's why I can give up power and influence and relationships in my job, in my career, like that, if it means I have to say we went to the moon, or that kids can be trained. Like, people don't realize that all came from my mom. And my dad, for all his horrible flaws and just wizardry, and all, he protected, he supported my mother. And I'll always respect him for that. My dad has a lot of flaws, a lot. And I don't share some of the real shameful ones. And I've really wrestled with honor thy father. What does that mean? You know, how do you honor someone who's lies all the time, or like is deceptive? It's like, well, what has he done that's good? And it's like, well, he did the best thing ever. He made my mom safe, and he protected. And that allowed my mother to be good to me. Because if my mother was one of these single moms out there just blowing in the wind, waiting for government checks and fucking, she wouldn't have been able to be kind to me. Take me to the lake and show me rocks, and we talk about the worlds in the rocks and what story I could see. Does that look like a fish? And these moments made me. And it's because my dad provided and protected. And all his personality flaws and all his weird shit, it's like, never raped me, never beat my mom, provided, protected, and allowed my mom to connect with me so that I understand that human beings are good. Children deserve protection. That power is not the antidote. And so God bless my father for that. I'm grateful for that. And it's like, that's what masculinity is. You know, as flawed as my own father is, and as much as I do not condone so much of his life and what he says and what he thinks and what he is, but like, was he a man? Yes. He worked, he protected, he provided, he made my mother feel safe. My mother never wanted other men. She never wanted the government to take care of her. She could be good. And I spent my whole all my days with my mom as a kid. So it's like, that's masculine. Is Sam Tripoli masculine? No. No. Is Joe Rogan a man? No. He's a coward, a fool, and a liar. He's selfish. Is Ben Shapiro a man? No. Ben Shapiro wants to fight in a war he will not fight in. There's no going back from that. I'm capable of violence. I understand war matters, all that stuff. I didn't enlist. So when my military buddies are like, I don't want to go to Syria, man. I still can't sleep after Afghanistan. Am I going to be like, no, boy, go to Syria because they're threatening the Jews? No. That's why I respect Alev. Alev is all, she'll fucking burn a nation, but she served in the Israeli military. That's why Israeli Jews are inherently more likable than American Jews, because they all fucking fought. So if you're going to, even if it's a bad call, even if you're going to topple someone that brings in, a caliphate and you don't see someone else is funding them, and if you fight, if you pay for the pizza, you get to pick the toppings. That's why when I do jokes sometimes, I'll do a couple jokes real quick. Yeah, dude, Shapiro's a cunt. And he's so short. He's so fucking short and small. Hey, look, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Sam Tripoli. That was me. Oh, Amy drew that. I thought that was funny. Oh, that was the original artwork for Why Don't They Laugh, which you can subscribe to at iTunes. You can get my specials at hugepianist.com, by the way. I thought of something. It was like I was always battling the crowd for so much of my career, where the crowd was like this wave coming at me. And I was a fighter. I was a warrior. I was going into chaos and coming out. And now I realize the wave's behind me. The crowd are my people. That image should be back the opposite. It's all the agents and the networks and the other comedians. That's the wave. Those are the wave. That's the wave. And the crowd is my piece now. And that's why I'm hitting such a phenomenal place in my career, because I look at the crowd and I'm like, you're not the threat. The crowd's, they're behind me. They're going to stab me in the fucking back. Vox Day can beat Joe Rogan. Vox Day is hysterical. I've really grown to just really, really like that guy. He picked up on the Rogan joke so fast and just roll with it so fun. He understood how funny it was to just keep lowering his height without bringing attention to it. It's like he's 5'4". I mean, the guy is 5'1". Listen, when you're 4'10", he's got comedy instincts. I really, really like that guy. And I will read these super chats, by the way. I might do 4 fucking hours tonight. Tonight meant something to me. Tomorrow I may not do a stream though, because I don't want to flood the market with gold. Listen, guys, I've learned from the Jews. False scarcity. I'm just joking. False scarcity is evil. Rogan told me that as advice. He called me once to give me advice. He's like, you put out so much stuff, save it, make people want it more, and then just drop it out, make sure it's exactly what you want to say, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that's false scarcity. That's manipulative. How about I give my audience hours a day, and if they want to listen, they can. If not, fuck it. It doesn't make me more valuable to fake scarcity. Want to know who does that? De Beers Diamonds. Jews. They have warehouses of diamonds that they just keep to make diamonds expensive, so that how much you love your woman is how much money you give them. It's brilliantly fucked up. Dude, Joe Rogan was in the Lord of the Rings as Gollum. I was also in Lord of the Rings. I was just one of the random guys that just got killed off real early. Has anyone here ever pissed the higher-ups off so bad that your power got shut off and your cell phone got shut off at the same time? I have. Good for you. I was explaining to my mom AI, because I was warning her about CIA emails and concerned trolling and stuff, and she gets it totally. And I told her, I'm so fucking thankful for you, Mom, because Dad's a retard. He's like, is something wrong? Are you going to kill yourself? It's like, Dad, they don't even know. They're trying to get you to think that. So if shit goes wrong or I'm discredited, I'm like, my mom totally got it. And then we started having a conversation. I'm like, there's not that many people in charge of all this. So a lot of them don't even know I exist. I'll trigger someone, someone writes a report. This guy's going off the narrative. He's got influence, blah, blah. They type my name in a computer. This is my speculation. AI. A lot of these people writing aren't even human. They get information about me. They use the same fucking shit that has been honed in academia of how to manipulate the mind. And that's all they do. That's why I'm getting a little less scared of someone actually killing me. The amount of people in control of the narrative is so small, and they have so many people calling them out now, kind of. I mean, granted, I'm a little on the forefront and I have a big reach, so I'm very threatening, but like the tactics is they'll take out like a demographic with bots, and they'll like fill your stream with so many fucking like Nazis and socialists and pedophiles and all this stuff so that other people start thinking that that's your audience, and then you're discredited and they shut you out. No one's sitting there doing it. I thought that someone at YouTube literally was sitting there doing this to me because it would be like censored by Google. And some of your messages wouldn't even come up. And I'm like, someone just watching this in real time? And I'd start talking about something fucked up and they shut it down. It's automated. Like I will say a word sometimes and my fucking stream will just, no one's doing it. It's algorithms. These fucking people, there's like 9 of them. And they're just indulging. They're literally just at some vegan place talking about being polyamorous. No one's at the wheel. That's why, oddly, I'm hopeful. It's like we build. And that's why I'm not really scared about being kicked off. It's like, oh, you just called out the Jews, you're going to be kicked off. No one's at the wheel, guys. It's bots, it's AI, it's the amount of people. That's why I always say hit the like button, share it, because the algorithms will react. The more thumbs up you have versus the complaints versus all the shit, even people in the narrative, even these fucking socialist retards, they'll still get demonetized if enough people complain because there's no one at the wheel. You know, it's like Otto von Bismarck's fucking alliances pre-World War I, and a lot of it started clicking into place. No one was there guiding it. That's a big problem with the size of our government is we can't even do anything anymore because no one's there. Like, that's why when people say like, oh, if we faked the moon landing, we'd have to kill so many people who knew the secret. It's like, does no one study anything? Like how an institution works? It's just like climate scientists. Set up a situation where you only get government grant money if you agree that the world's getting hotter. And the way to get rid of it is to kill people and have all the energy controlled by Bill Gates. Well, I don't believe that. Oh, you don't get any grant money. You're not going to be able to publish it. Turns out 97% of scientists agree. Meanwhile, tons are like, no, it's total bullshit. And they're like, he's not been peer reviewed and he has no money to do any research. Does no one see that? That's the problem. That's why Yuri is so terrifying to me, where it's like people will be able to see in front of their own eyes the truth and they will not be able to accept it until a jackboot is on their testicles, and then they have no use. That's why I get scared and why I do 3-hour podcasts, because I'm like, you're going to die if you can't understand these very, very simple concepts. Because it's not that you're so dumb. I used to think, that's why I'd be like, oh, I have a high IQ. Maybe you're so fucking retarded, you can't understand it. It's all good. This isn't high IQ stuff, guys. Simple carrot and stick. What motivates people? What doesn't motivate people? What punishes people? And what motivates people? When you watch the Oscars, meanwhile, America elected Donald Trump. The Hollywood is supposed to make movies that America wants to watch. Can you imagine anybody on that stage saying anything good about Donald Trump? Does that represent America? Or is that carrots and sticks? Anyone who likes Trump is not allowed to speak. Hey, look, a consensus. Look at NASA. Okay, you do this job. You do this job. You do this job. I don't think we went to the moon. Prove it. Well, I'm responsible for this one thing here. And it's like, well, that is just that thing. You break up responsibilities so no one sees the big picture. The head of the NSA, like big CIA people, have openly talked about how this works. There will be a whole operation. And the whole reason for the operation is one little tiny thing. Like, let's say there's a whole operation for like counting salmon. And they employ 1,000 people to count salmon in a river. And everybody's so fucking fired up about it. And they're like, be very secretive. There's a salmon problem. Meanwhile, the whole thing is just to spy on one house on the river. That happens all the time. Whole operations are to hide other operations. I think climate change is to start making people want chemtrails. Bill Gates is already saying he's going to spray shit in the atmosphere to reflect the sun so that we won't die in a blaze of global warming. And people are like, yes, give me chemtrails. The whole thing about global warming is to control energy and to make people okay with spraying shit in the atmosphere. You want to bet? Otherwise, it makes no fucking sense. There are environmental catastrophes. Bees. Without bees, there's no pollination. Everything fucking dies. The bee population is tanking. No one gives a fuck. Everyone's like, oh, climate change. And meanwhile, fucking, what's that guy's name? Who looks like his head looks like a tampon. Scott Adams, who I respect in a weird way, even though he's a fucking retard sometimes. He's like, people say rich people buy houses on the beach. Am I wrong? Fact check me here. But rich people, I'm a rich guy. We buy a house on a beach. And if it fucking goes away, we just buy another one. Like, I live on a fault line. It's like, Scott, retard, it's about mortgages. So are the banks giving 30-year fixed loans rich guys? If there was actually evidence, people giving loans and insurance wouldn't insure or give loans to beaches. I get so frustrated when people are so arrogant about their response. It's like, you guys don't understand rich guys. A rich guy will buy a mansion and it burns down and we're like, well, I liked it when I was here, but fuck it, we'll go somewhere else. That's valid. Nothing to do with the point. A bank giving a 30-year mortgage would not allow you to take $2 million from them if you lived in a place that will be flooded in 3 years. They don't work as rich guys. They work in algorithms, risk, reward. They're Jews. Do you think they're going to lose money? They're Jews. Jesus. The bees aren't gone. They just moved on. That's hilarious. All right. I want to show you what made me so happy today, because you can all tell I'm in a fantastic mood. So I finally finished the fence. Oh, shit. I got to keep this here because I don't like, as much as I'm like, listen, you can't fucking, people are going to find out where you live. It's like, I do try and not show my house or anything like that, or people don't actually know what city I live in. It's hilarious when people try and threaten me. They're like, I got your address. I'm like, dude, you're like way off. Sometimes it gets a little weird. I've had some stalkings. But I finally finished the fence. And one of my biggest goals was to allow George to just run around and not fuck the neighbor's dog. And this felt so good to have all this land enclosed by a fence. And I know that this is, having grass here doesn't do anything. I'm going to make it all farms and shit. But watch George how happy he is. Look at this, Georgie. George! I got a ball! Ready? Hey, George! George! Ready? Go get it! Did you catch why that was funny? You catch Amy's laugh? Oh, someone said ouch because of the volume. Sorry about that. I try not to do that. But every now and then it happens. We can all move on. It's not a big deal. I do try to not jack the volume, but I slipped that time. So I build this whole fence. I throw the ball, and he doesn't go and gets it. And Amy just starts dying laughing and just goes, Owen, go get it. And I just went and got it. I'll show you one, though, where George is just crushing. This is just pure happiness. Because I do care about my dog's feelings. And I know that he has to run free, but he also has these balls on him that make him want to fuck the Doberman next door. Wait a minute, this is the wrong one. Give me a second. As you can tell, I'm really into dogs, especially my dogs. Go get it! Watch this. Look at that fucking middle linebacker. Look at the happiness. I did all of that fence by hand. No post digger. No, I did it Amish style, dude. I grew a mustache. And that's just a part of it, dude. That's like a third. Less than a third. Don't trust Glenn Beck? Who the fuck trusts Glenn Beck? Glenn Beck doesn't trust Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck's like, this is why I don't trust Glenn Beck. So one of my buddies wrote for Glenn Beck. And he goes, I've worked with a lot of people. I'm not going to say who it is because I'm just telling a story and there's no way that I'll get back to anybody. But he's a legend. He's a legendary writer. And he goes, I've been in some palatial estates. He's like, but Glenn Beck's place in New York City is insane. He's like, it's fucking massive. So riddle me this. Who gets a like Batman type compound in the heart of Manhattan? Doesn't sound very trustworthy to me. You know, it's like, listen, I get it if you have to live in New York, but like, if you have that much money, doesn't the land call for you? I don't think that really, because I have nothing against wealth. I know people with palatial estates and stuff, but it's like, I trust people with bees and like, you know, freedom and stuff. Who the fuck wants to live in the heart of darkness? You know, there's some people that have to live in New York City because of their job and they have these little apartments and they fucking survive it and everything. But if you have like fuck you money and you're like, all right, I'm going to spend $100 million to be in the heart of Manhattan. I don't trust that at all. Not one fucking bit. Especially someone who talks a lot about being Christian and morality and shit. It's like, you want to live in the gay mice experiment. Like the mouse utopia experiment. When you put that many people or any animal on top of each other like that, they all eventually turn gay and commit cannibalism. It's awful for your soul and your mind. Anybody that anybody that has fuck you money and chooses to live in Manhattan is Satan. It's like, okay, I have all these resources. I'm married. I'm a Christian. I'm going to go to Manhattan where I'm going to be put on top of millions of mice as they claw at each other and commit horrifying acts of sodomy and cannibalism because utopia and this amount of management breaks the mind of an animal. There's experiments. Check it out. All right. Someone just said no. Now you're banned for life. Guys, I got more to show you guys. I don't know if you guys are still down, but there's 5,600 people. I laughed out loud at that. Well, thank you. Some people don't have a sense of humor or just don't embrace that, and they think I'm so fucking serious all the time. What I just said was a joke and true. And that's kind of like the zone I'm in for most of my life. It's like, laugh. That's funny. But at the same time, it's like, who the fuck does that in New York City? Some people that don't understand comedy or humor or anything like that are like, he's so intense. He was ranting about Hitler's mustache for... It's like, yeah, a lot of people that aren't insane were dying laughing. It's like, Jesus. A huge part of like what I believe is funny is just really, really well-crafted truths where it's like, I don't know. I can't explain it any more than that. But it's kind of like that story I told about, like, if you keep heckling me, I'll have sex with your girlfriend. That's preposterous. And it happened. It's like that's both crazy, intense, and weird. Not proud of it, by the way, in case you missed that part. This is a long time ago. I just used that example of things that you shouldn't be proud of. That's not alpha. It's weak. But, like, it's hilarious and insane and real. It's like, that's what comedy really is. All right. What else we got here? I had one more thing. No, I showed you everything. So let's read the super chats. I also have subscriptions. Don't know what that is yet, but it could be cool. To left's hook that up. Make mustaches great again, because every penny I make is consensual, and it's and don't feel obligated. I'm doing crazy good, and I just spent most of my money on fences and stuff like that. But like, I know a lot of you guys are just trying to be good people and you don't have a lot of cash and you're just trying to like scrape together your first house with a girl you want to marry. Don't give me shit. We got plenty of people that are like, they want this culture to pass on and they like that I'm at the front lines doing this. And they're very comfortable and they're like, here you go, bro. Keep it up. Because they know that's how this is sponsored. If money is at all tight with you and you're like, you don't have to pay me anything. And I mean that sincerely. That isn't manipulative. It's so fucking crazy the world we live in where something like that, people would be like, is this a sales pitch? I couldn't be more serious. Because if someone is like, that's when empathy can bite people in the ass, where they look at me and they're like, I want to be a man like him. He's speaking truth. He's sacrificed. I'm going to support him even though we don't have much. Don't. I have plenty. I need support, obviously, because this is like, I'm not going to be on a network. I'm not going to have fucking creepy ass fucking sponsorships. But you're not the people to, like, there's plenty of people that have enough where they're like, this is worth support. And it doesn't hurt them at all. It actually makes them feel part of something. Those are the people. You don't do that. And it makes me sad sometimes to think about that. Like, people have been like, here's my last $5, dude, but you're a legend. I want to be a dad like you. I'm like, then keep the $5. Unless you're like, I'm glad he's passing on the info. I'm going to give him some of my rental money, from my properties that I got because God has blessed me and this great country of America, and I will give some to the big bear. That's what it's all about. It's not about like, I'm struggling, but I want to do something good. You want to do something good, save that money and fucking protect your wife so she feels safe and doesn't want to fucking muzzy. And I really hope you know I'm serious and that doesn't motivate you to be like, no, now I really do. Please believe me. Because there's plenty of people that are doing great. And we draw those people because those people that live their life with a sense of purpose, right and wrong, morality, they're honest, reckless, admit they do well. There's a ton of people on here that are like 60 that are like, I'm glad you're doing this, man. I want to support. They own businesses and shit because it works. And this isn't one of these like prosperity things where I'm like, if you do this, you'll get money. You might not get anything, but it is true. And it makes for a class of people that a lot of them are like, these are the things that allowed me to start my soy business, whatever the fuck people do. And those are the people that support the pod, and they should. I mean, pass supplies to the front line. I get it. You can't do it in your world. I can. But if you are at all working on your life, have any sense of debt, give me nothing ever. And then when you follow some of my advice and down the line, you got some fucking extra shekels in your pocket from Ben Faggot Shapiro, throw some my way. And that is consent. And that's how we keep this good. Because if not, it's fucked. I've watched good men go down bad roads. Thanks, Tipsy Bear, for making me cry last night. I did a little crying myself. I'm not tonight, though. I'm staying focused. I'm only on my second claw. I got to change that. I'm going to go to 11. I usually am like, I'm going to wrap up in 5 minutes, and I never do. I'm going to try and honestly call it. It's 10:23. I'm going to do another 37 minutes. Because it's funny, because I'm always like, yeah, I got to go. Like, Amy's asleep. Like, we don't have quality time right now. Like before, we got to have a great dinner together. We got to sit on the porch and dream. Like, we'll run errands together if I'm free and we can just hang. So don't think I'm like ignoring my family. Like, they're all sleeping. I'm just in such a fucking good mood that the fence got completed, and I attacked people without being cruel. That's been a big goal of mine. All right. What the hell was I just talking about? I don't fucking remember. Awesome. Goody. Mine just shipped. I got banned by Google for wiener comments, so I had to make a new one. Nice. I don't know what that means. That was like hours ago. Watching live in the UK. Love your work, Big Bear. Cheers to UK. Tommy Robinson. That Monkey Toe Rogan pick was worth $5. I agree completely. Hi, Owen. I'm just wondering how to email you. Why didn't they laugh at Gmail? Oh, dude, I got to show you guys something else, too. This dude, Trevor, has made some of these like sick songs. And he just sent me one. I want to promote his page too, because I get real supportive of that type of shit. Like good artists just being fucking hilarious. Yuri Bezmenov. Did it not download? It's called Hillary Death Count. We gotta watch this.